Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am the CEO and the founder of Madaraka Festival, and we are recording our first episode of Madaraka Festival podcast in Kisumu, Kenya. We are live and direct at One Vibe Africa in Manyata, and I'm here with a legendary brother, my brother Brian Nyamanga, also known as Soul Freak. And this is a brother that is, not just talented as a musician, but he's also one of the people that have kept Kisumu, at the forefront of, show business, So today we are going to talk about his work as a vibe curator, his work as a cultural custodian in Kenya, but also beyond Kenya. He's someone who has connected with people globally. He has worked on projects globally. He's a father like myself. He's a musician. He's a craftsman, and so many other things. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing fine.
So is there anything I didn't add on that intro that you want to add?
Is that the name Mufana
Is
now the cultural brand.
Yeah. Talk about Mufana. Like, how did this name come about?
It's actually my great-grandfather's name, also my grandfather, and I picked it up because it's a very powerful name. When I checked the name on Google, it's actually a Zosi name, meaning giver, cheerful giver, someone who's generous giver. So I think I like that name.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that
so much.
When somebody, for me, I'm really lucky that I've seen you in your journey since high school.
Right. Right.
I saw your creativity evolve from a young age, and now I feel like I need to learn a lot from you, especially when it comes to making things happen in Kisumu.
Correct.
I want you to just take a moment and share with our audience members, those who are joining us, especially on YouTube or on all podcasting platforms. Just take us back to your upbringing here in Kisumu. What was it growing up in Kisumu? What was it like?
Well, I remember my growing up in Kisumu was I used to come to Kisumu because of the freedom. That is the second charter of the Madaraka Fest. It's called Freedom.
That's true.
So the second charter for me was important because I needed someplace away from the bustling city, Nairobi. And when I found Kisumu, of course, nilisoma in Kisumu. I studied in Kisumu. But you see, in your high school years, you're being molded to become what you will become in your college years and also later on in life. But I found Kisumu very interesting. A very calm city, very relaxed, and also very green, which gave the opportunity for me, my seed, to germinate creatively. Because from a young age, I guess, I love the creative arts. So my journey in Kisumu has been one of mostly learning and giving. Because when we started, I did not start as a musician. I started as a flute maker. I was taught how to make the flute by a Rastafarian called Gave. Mosiah Gave. And Gave taught me this art, and this art somehow opened my mind to the possibilities of being an artist on a very professional level. Because I remember he used to teach me, and then to Nenda Mwindimbingu Street.
In Nairobi?
In Nairobi. So we go to Mwindimbingu Street, and we sell the flutes. And then I started learning how to make and play the flute. And then one day Gavi went to Dala, Bondo. And he never decided to come back. So he used to just tell me, oh, you know what to do now, yeah? You know what to do? Unaenda boretum, cut the bamboos, dry the bamboos, come back after like a few weeks, you'll find the bamboo dry, make the flutes, and then sell your flute. But one turning edge for me was when one day I was really broke, and I took the flutes and went to the National Theatre for the first time. That was my first time at the National Theatre. I was still a very young person, and I started playing the flute. And then a guy just came out, and asked, "Who's playing that flute?" And everyone pointed, "It's him." And they say, "You're playing so well. Our flute player, who's supposed to go with us for projects in Holland for Sarakasi, is not." To warn you, we don't see him. Are you able to play? I said, I can play. So you can imagine you're very broke. yeah,
Mm.
and you're deciding acha niende hii place inaitwa National Theatre,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
So I cross ile barabara ya Nairobi University nakuja hivi,
Mm.
yeah. I ingia the theatre for the first time, and this miraculous moment happens.
Wow.
Where this guy comes and
Yeah.
says, we want to go with you on a tour to Holland. And that was my first entry into the creative aspect of life professionally. Yeah, because I went. We were in Holland for like 1 month. I was playing flute for dancers and acrobats. And that opened ways for me. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I love
then
that.
I came back to Kisumu. Yeah, and I just loved the city because I fell in love with the guitar. I now wanted to sing because I did not have a very musical background. So I wanted to learn something that will not only be the flute, and now I learned the guitar. And from there, the journey has just been just amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
I love it. I love how sometimes just trusting your instinct, and believing in yourself,
Right.
and just saying, now that I have this flute, let me make this move, and you never know what actions will lead you to the
next
places
step.
you really want to be at.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so you came back to Kisumu, and I think around the time you came back to Kisumu, you were all over the place,
Yeah.
I used to see you make this, you were using, like electric wires and
Yes.
telephone wires. You're making all these great,
Recycled art.
like wristbands, and I feel like even the glasses you're wearing could be made from the material that you used to push,
Hopefully, yeah.
But now, fast forward to 2024,
Yeah.
you are influencing events, shows that happen in some of the most iconic venues in this western region,
Sure.
So give us a little glimpse into when you came back to Kisumu and how you've evolved until this moment where you're curating most of the acoustic shows,
Yeah.
most of the karaoke shows.
Right.
Take us on a journey, maybe a week with Mufana around Kisumu.
That's good. Well, I'll just follow my name, Mufana, which is the giver, like cheerful giver. And in this podcast, I really want to give back to the people who have been there for me, because you cannot do it alone. So first, I'd like to give it back to the Congolese who were playing at a place called Turtle.
I remember Turtle.
This was
very
the
well.
beginning of contemporary bands in Kisumu.
Shout out to Christine Riaro.
Yeah.
And what's her husband's name?
Griffin.
Christine and Griffin. I want you guys. We want you on this podcast.
Yeah, they have to be here because they saw the first band.
True.
Because we were there, and this Congolese, I'd like to say, give thanks to. He went to Mombasa. I think I lost his name, but Dezo. His name is called Dezo. If Dezo is out there, if you're watching this, I would like to give thanks. I'd like to give thanks so much because you taught us the art of performance, live performance. And from there, when we formed our first band, something people also don't even know was, before it was called Soul Africa or what, my name was called Creative. Yeah, my name was called Creative. But you see, when the Creative band was being formed, it found I had traveled out of the country that time. Yeah, I was in Germany, I think. So I told Angie Janeko, another person I give thanks to because she believed in us so much. Janeko alibaki, and we had a bead shop. We were actually selling beads. Me and Angie, we had a bead shop. So it was Janeko Creative Minds. So I was Creative Minds. So when we left, Janeko said, these young boys who are coming, and I've seen you mentor them or put them all together, what should we call the name of the band? And I said, Janeko, you can call it whatever you like. And Janeko said, I'll call it the Creative Band. So Bovins and everyone else didn't know actually that the origin of the name, the Creative Minds, Creative Bands, was my name. Then I gave it up. So that's when I started picking up officially like Soul Africa as my official artist name, because by then I didn't have one.
Right.
So these fast bands, somehow I saw them come up. Yeah. And I really realized that it's a pedestal for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be
Yeah.
able to be in that high edge, malunaona how kila kitu started.
Yeah.
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 So fast forward comes Dunga Hill Camp.
Right.
But before Dunga Hill Camp, we have the rooftop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You remember there's a rooftop. There's a restaurant rooftop. It was owned by a certain Dutch folks.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
the owners
next
of Sovereign.
to. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Before waingie into building Sovereign Hotel or anything else, there was a rooftop restaurant.
Yeah, I know her name. I forget her name.
Then too, they started accepting contemporary live music.
Yeah.
And the person who came into the picture that time as a really good mentor was Jack Pal Sanzo. Because he used to come and watch us. And he was like, okay, that wasn't good. Not yet. But you see, Jack Pal then was running what we call Dunga Spirulina. He had not started Dunga Hill Camp. Then out of the blues, one day, Jack Pal says, I'm thinking of starting a place, a camping spot. He has a place, Mali Ukuju. And we were with him, Rudolph, chilling out. And then we went to this place. It was still green. There was nothing going on there. And Jack Pal said, this will be the spot. So I remember the first live we did there. We had campers coming there. And there was me, Adira, Rauf, and some few percussionists. And that was the first band at Dunga Hill Camp. Yeah, the first live session at Dunga Hill Camp. And then later on we had other artists coming in, like Sam and Eileen, playing guitar live, nini. So fast forward to Nenda Mbele. I made Dunga Hill Camp like my home. And we've been building Dunga Hill Camp as the home of live entertainment from that beginning until now, when watu wanasema imeshika, which means it has come into its maturity as one of the biggest live entertainment spots in Nyanza. Let's say that could even be in Kenya. Could even be in Kenya because we're talking about a permanent stage providing live entertainment all throughout the year, free gate entry, free of charge. Then that is tremendous energy in order for someone to be able to hold up such a culture. And we've been able to do that for years and years and years. And the amount of artists who have passed through us is amazing. Okelo Max, Nadia Mukami, Akoth Jumadi, Costa Juang, all those wamepita through Dunga Hill Camp at a particular point.
Ben Soul.
Akina Ben Soul. But you see, these are the ones when sasa wamekuwa called to come and perform. But the ones who are actually brought up under the wings of DHC are wengi sana. You can say wengi sana. And I've seen these artists from the beginning until today. So I may not have studied cultural curation in terms of entertainment in that sense, but it is something that was inbuilt, which means it was a street art that we learned along ikiendelea until 2022 or 2022, when Alliance Fonse now turned their eye towards Nyanza region, and then they said, in fact, the ambassador, the cultural ambassador for Nini, France, apologized and said, we are sorry that we have been receiving artists from Nyanza. The origin of Kenyan music in that level of fusion has been coming from this side, but we did not pay attention to actually come to the root to promote and support where that cultural music has been coming from. So they said, we're sorry we came in late, but better late than never. No. So they're there, we are there, and we are ready to be there for a very long time, moving forward. So that is the aspect of live entertainment and how it has evolved and grown. We have just been, like you said, gatekeepers, custodians. We're just there. But also putting in the work on stage. We might be off stage, but we are again still on stage.
I love that. So if somebody is watching and they're curious on how you've secured all these deals for curating shows in Kakamega, at Daba in Kisumu, at Le Sovereign, Hill Camp. Just share with us quickly all the locations where you're currently curating gigs, and briefly for the young people who want to do what you do. How did you, cultivate these relationships and secure these deals?
There's actually a need. It's more of a need. It doesn't come from I want to do it. When someone says I want to do it, then when the want is greater than the need, then there's a problem. The need has to be greater than the want. The demand has to be higher than the supply. No. So when we create this demand, it's because other people are seeing that, Hill Camp is doing great with bands. Kisumu has a live culture. And that it's becoming, the contemporary culture is now picking it up sana. And why I'm saying this is because someone like Ayubu Gada, let me use Musa Juma. When the global audience started putting their eye on these brands, Ayub used to say one thing: I do not go to them, they come to me when they need me. But I can imagine that it did not take just 1 year for that to happen. So if we are talking about these venues that are now accepting contemporary live music, entertainment, and not saying, we want benga, or we want just only Congolese rumba and what, it's because the amount of work we had put in through the years is actually paying off.
It's no joke, yeah.
Yeah. In order for them to say, we're now going to pay Okelo Max, Custodian, we're going to pay someone like Akina Sigu, Akina IOD, or we're going to pay Nani na Nani. This music, Akina Sauti Soul, this music has gone through tremendous journey in order for it to be in demand. So you understand?
Yeah.
So for these venues to accept that now we want live entertainment at Sovereign, we want live entertainment at the VIP Lounge, we want live acoustic sessions maybe at Dabao on a Thursday before the show starts, and the owner says, I want that. This is because the work in imekuwa ikiekwa has been relentless.
Incredible. Yeah.
Relentless.
Man, I heard you speak about two things that I want us to touch on. You spoke about Kisumu being the source of the rich
fusion.
Music.
Let's call it folk fusion.
Folk fusion, yeah. And I want you to just count some of the artists that have contributed to this evolution of music from from Okachbigi coming all the way to now, and then just talk about the impact of this music on the culture and on the country.
For one, Kanye West has Ayubu Gada in his album, doing a renditions of Kothbiro. Yeah, that tells you that already is impact. Who knows? Maybe Javan Okelo will be next doing something with who? Busta Rhymes.
Why not?
Sindio?
Yeah.
Maybe Mshike aseme, we're looking at what is happening in Africa and what is coming from Africa into our diaspora. And for me, that is so important because the origins of this sound comes thousands and thousands of years ago. There's a song we usually sing with our band on stage, and it's called Chandrock. And the sound what we call benga. If you listen to the origins of the rhythms of benga, the origins of ohangla, the origins of this muziki, it is the rhythm. The rhythm carries the sound itself into what it is today. Yeah, and it is that count. You see? If you understand where a count comes from. I remember my mom used to play a song called Wasted Olokua. Alikuwa kanaifanyaga with makucha. Anafanya see? That count. My mom used to do a count for benga without knowing what she's doing. You see? So it might be inside the people. That sound might have its place inside the hearts or the DNA. Let me just call it the DNA of the people, because we do not understand the origin of language. How then can we understand the origin of the sound carried into that language? It means it goes deeper than what we just say, oh, today I'm just going to do a banger tune. It is something that goes thousands and thousands of years into our DNA, going all the way back. And that's why that sound resonates today as something very heavy. It carries the culture of the people, the language of the people. It carries the spirit. It carries the plans that people have for the future, because it talks about the past, the present, and whatever it is in it planned for the future. So if we say that, yes, this is the origin of that sound carried into the world, I assure you, Mr. Javan, that we haven't seen anything yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Many people behind us are coming with amazing evolutions of that sound. But you will always recognize it and say, that is our ancestral sound. Yeah. So I look at it from a very deeper perspective. These things, these songs that we sing, this sound that we create, these counts, these rhythms that we create, they go a long way. Yeah. And who knows where it's going?
No one knows.
Yeah.
It's really what you're saying also reminds me about a conversation I had with Tabu Susa, the founder of Ketebul Music, who worked very closely with Ayub Ogada. He works very closely with Macadam, who is a frequent performer at Dunga Hill Camp.
He's made a home there.
Yeah. Tabu Susa was saying that Kenya's music has no identity. But also, in a way, I was feeling like he was saying that Benga is the identity of Kenyan music.
It is.
Because I feel that based on a book that he gave me, I'm also learning that Benga has influenced Bugidhi, Benga has influenced even, there's a genre of music in Zimbabwe that is,
from Benga.
It's named after a Benga artist.
Say what?
Yeah.
That is new to me.
One of these, I'll find it and share with you. But Benga traveled to Zimbabwe. There's this Benga artist from Kenya that went to Zimbabwe, I think in the 60s, and he really influenced the music scene there. You will hear them sing in their language,
but
it's pure Benga, even the guitar, everything.
Sounds Nilotic.
And then the genre there is named after this Kenyan guy, this Luo guy.
That one I'll research.
You won't even need to research.
Yeah, you missed that one.
Or you can talk to Sapat, Sapato Peeps.
Yeah.
Man, there are so many people you need to interview on this podcast. People like Tabu Susa, they've been traveling, documenting, Kenyan music and East African music. Anyhow, so for those who are joining us, this is Madaraka Festival podcast, and my guest is my brother Mufana, who is a cultural custodian, a vibe curator here in Kisumu, Kenya. And we've talked about so much. We've talked about his history growing up in Kisumu. We've talked about some of the projects he's working on across the region from Kakamega, Kisumu, and we've just touched on the history of Luo music, Benga music, and how the music from the Lake region has impacted the world. And now I just want you to talk a bit about Madaraka Festival. When did you learn about it? How do you feel about the planning for the 10-year anniversary here in Kisumu? What should people look out for?
I think I was there during the first Madaraka, was I?
That it was still growing. The very first one, that one was, we were calling it Unite the People Concert.
Unite the People Concert.
Yeah, so Madaraka grew from that. Yeah, that's still Madaraka, yeah.
Yeah, I was there when we brought, was Clinton Ferron during the first one?
Clinton Ferron was there during the first one because we had a VIP show at Sunset. You performed.
Yeah.
Then we had the main show.
The street.
At Central Square. You also performed.
I was there.
So you've been there from the very beginning.
I've been watching.
Yeah.
I've been watching.
Yeah.
So I'm excited where Madaraka is now. It's really, really big. you know, my mother was the one who was housing, let's say, alikuwa na accommodate hosting Sauti Soul when they're in South Africa. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, wanamjua mzuri sana.
Wow. Wow.
So I remember she just missed one of the Madaraka concerts while she was in the US.
Yeah.
But alikuwa ananiambia, Daddy, there's someone who looks like you. But then I had dreadlocks then.
Yeah.
It's like, I know him, I know the guy. I know
Yeah.
the guy. He says, yeah, we just missed it, kidogo. I've just arrived in the US and I missed it a little bit.
Yeah.
I say, that's Javan Okelo.
Yeah.
And he's doing amazing. Like I say, that's amazing, Kazi.
Yeah.
I remember Soul was doing these awards in South Africa. Was it Music of Black Origin?
I can't remember.
I believe so. Yeah. And that's where now also I met them. In person with Zuri.
In South Africa.
Yeah, I visited.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
I was just saying. And then we were in the same house and we were just talking these things. But they were leaving actually to come to Madaraka Fest.
Oh, wow.
That time. Yeah.
In the US.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think seeing that artists who are on the contemporary level who have also inspired us, being part of Madaraka, and these three pillars, music, freedom, and giving power to the people, for me, that is what it should be. And if someone is attending then Madaraka, we're not only just going there to listen to the rhythms and the sound and then I always say we always have to instill what the motto, what the aim and the goals of that festival is. Giving people the music, it frees them up, and when you're free, you feel powerful. When someone gives you freedom, they give you power.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. And all that through music and arts and through collaborations, through community involvement. These things, for me, they create not just a festival, but they create a village that comes, an African village that comes alive and that is so welcoming to the world. And we're inviting also everybody else to be part of this 2-day village, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You are involved with so many events. Some events you've organized yourself, some events you are involved with parts of, but also some events you are fully responsible for.
Correct.
Madaraka, you are the stage manager for the Madaraka Festival on December 14th.
13th, 14th.
Yes. Give us 3 tips for those who are just starting to organize events, or those who are in the middle of their event organizing careers. If one of the things that brings people to this YouTube channel is ideas of how to produce events that are as great as Madaraka Festival or even greater. So when I have guests on the podcast, I always want to pick their brains so that our audience can have 3 things that they can learn from each episode. So share with us your 3 tips when it comes to event production.
One is usually involve the community. When you bring a well, do not feed the guests first. The well has to provide water for the community first. So when you have an event like this, and for example, Madaraka taking a band from Kisumu, for me it means that the well is now serving the community. Yeah, you're taking artists from the region as much as wengine from Minje bring knowledge naturally, because they're also coming here and they will pick something from here. They truly will pick something. And listening to your sounds, I assure you, someone who's coming from Minje will pick it. So first, always involve the community. Always involve the community, because they are the people who that event happen kwa soil yao. An African saying says, even if a bird flew from one tree to another, it is still on the ground. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So whether this event goes in the US, comes here, it is still on the ground, it is still on earth. It is still part of a much more greater community. So Madaraka, in the Kenyan edition happening in Kisumu, that means imerudi nyumbani. So the community has to be greatly involved. 2, second tip is the marketing has to be exhaustive. Yeah. In most cases, utapata you spend so much on the marketing material, and people will be like, your new marketing ni norma. That was well marketed. Like Kisumu understands what we say. They marketed it well. Ilitufikia, it reached us. Yeah. when the rain fall, it don't fall on one house
Mhm.
only,
Mhm.
which means your marketing should be like rain.
Mm.
It should hit each rooftop.
Mm.
Yeah, completely.
Mm.
And the third one is, let's just say, make your event, yeah, have a goal.
Mm.
Like the fact that we have music, freedom, and power.
Mm.
Who are we empowering? We're empowering girls. We're empowering young boys. We're empowering artists. We're empowering the next brands. We're empowering organizations like One Vibe, because One Vibe is large. It has the schools, Nanini, and all that. So your event has to have a solid purpose.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
For me, those. The
I love
food
that.
tutakula, the
Yeah.
music tutadance.
Yeah.
But am I living that event
Yeah.
feeling a sense of Pan-Africanism?
Yeah.
Yeah, am I living that event feeling as if there was a band that
Yeah.
connected me to my ancestors?
Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
connected me to a business idea,
Yeah.
or connected me to a mind-opening session.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
those three things for me are very important in an event.
I love that.
Yeah.
Please look at that camera and ask everyone who is watching to subscribe to Madaraka Festival on YouTube.
You better subscribe. Yeah. Lazima ukuwe press your button. Yeah. You have to be in it, and you have to realize that these festivals are not usually about one person. It's not Javan Okelo, but
Yes.
this is a community, a global gathering.
Yes.
Yeah, we
yes.
turn it into we create a village for 2 days,
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
and this village is full of love, full of culture, full of color, full of pomp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
full of sounds.
Yeah.
And full of knowledge. For me, you'll meet people. You'll meet cultural enthusiasts, fashion, you know.
Yeah.
You'll meet Easy Vituzote. All these elements will be there.
Yeah.
And just make sure you pick something out of that festival.
100%.
Don't just come and get drunk, you know. No heckle.
100%.
No upige tu makelele.
100%.
The person behind that festival wants you to realize that it is out of love that
Yes.
these festivals exist. So
Yes.
subscribe, press that button, and buy those tickets.
100%. 100%. Tickets are available at Hustle Sasa. Hustle Sasa is where you'll get your tickets. If anybody is watching and they want to connect with you on social media, can you share your social media handles?
Yeah, it's Mufana Soul, Mufana. Just type the word Mufana, and you'll find me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And also follow at Madaraka Festival across all social media platforms, and follow at Okelo Javan to stay connected with me across all social media platforms. My brother Mufana, thank you for making the time. I deeply appreciate it, man.
It's been good.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you, and I want you to know that the work that you're doing is deeply appreciated.
As well.
Asante sana.
As well.
Thank you all for tuning in. Peace and love.